Hello there and welcome back. In this video we are going to talk about INI style config parsing. So if you look at Wikipedia, the INI style config is like when you have specified the section and the key and the value. So it is very, let's say, resemblant to a dictionary and more like a nested dictionary. So if I say that my config dictionary looks like this, and I say that A has the following smaller dictionary, which is B colon C, then if I print the config, or let's just import from the prettyprint module the prettyprint function. So if we prettyprint the config dictionary, you will see no difference. Okay, but basically we have the section, the key, and the value. And how does it look like with the test config file? So let's say this is the test.conf, and I say that we have the section A where B is equal to C, and the section D where E is equal to F, and the section G where the H is equal to J, and so on. So now if I say that I would like to have this config parse.py, what I need to do is to import the config parser. So this config parser is a library which is coming from the default Python libraries, and what I can do is to specify this configuration file. So if I go back to my folder and copy this path, what I can do here is to say that I have the configuration parser, which is equal to config parser, and the row config parser, and I would like to parse, or let's say just read this configuration file, and let me turn around the slashes. And what was the name once again? So test.con. Now if we execute the conf parse, we will see nothing, because nothing was, let's say, printed. But basically what we can do now is to see what keys are there. So parser dot keys, and it will show us the sections themselves. But this is a generator function, so in order to see what's in the keys, we need to use a for loop and then print out the values. So now if we execute this, we can see that we have the section A, D, and G. Now how do we get the values from these? What we can do now is to say that we would like to see the for I in parser.keys and print what do we do here? We have this parser.keys and we would like to have, oh, not the keys, but simply the I. And as you can see, we have the sections. We have something called default section, and the A, the D, and the G. And now what we can do is to dig deeper. So for I in parser.keys, print parser I and the keys. And as you can see, now we have a keys U. So let's open up Python shell. So ConfigParser and continue here. So we would like to import the configuration parser, and we would like to create our object and read this part. And now what we can do is the following. So parser.keys, and we cannot refer to this part, but if we issue the for I in parser.keys, we can use the dir function to discover what is hidden inside each key view. So now we can check the items, the keys, the name, and the values. So let's see what the values are there. So here we would like to see the values. And as you can see, we have the values view. What we can also do is to imbue our, let's say, configuration file. So let's say that our configuration file doesn't contain the following versions or values, but it contains the user and the password, and user and the password, and the user and the password, HJ. Now what we could do is to define values that we are accepting or expecting here. So expected, and this is called, hold on, user and password. Now if we go back, what we can do is to simply say that we are interested in the parser, and I and expected, and we say that for expected in expected, and let's call this expect, so we don't have the name collision. Now if we execute our config parser, expected indent block, great. Now we can execute it. So expected is not defined because we need to call this like that. Voila! So test.conf holds the user pass, user pass, user pass. And as you can see, we have the error which says that the specific one is not defined. So let's go deeper. the section is I. Let's run it once again. As you can see, the section is default. So what we can do now is to skip the default. So if I equals default, then continue. And now if we modify our script with the following way, we will see the following output. Alright, so now you know basically how to pull out data from your instyle configuration file. And we can go back and say that our data is equal to this one, and we say that we in the data are going to have this subdictionary, and we will say that after printing this value we will capture this one and say that expect is equal to parser I expect, and at the end we could pretty print the data. And now, yeah, we should import the pprint from the pprint. And we have pulled out the data as a dictionary of values. So you can use more complex nesting inside your instyle configuration file. This was basically just a demonstration as to how you can get by in this situation. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.